to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Jennifer Davis, the founder of Davis Interiors, a boutique design firm based in Minneapolis. Over the past few years, Jennifer has built a thriving, profitable business, but Jennifer's success didn't happen by accident. She intended it to happen. And of course, we can probably all say we intend to be successful, but we intend a lot of things when it comes down to it, don't we? We intend to go to yoga. We intend to call our friend. We intend to get that proposal done. But it is having a tangible intention for being successful that we're talking about with Jennifer today. Jennifer's story isn't just about having button-up systems and processes. Of course she has those, but she has a few other tools in her tool belt, and they are pretty darn powerful. Intention, manifestation, and mindset. And today, she is sharing how she uses these and how you can too, to reshape your life, your business, and your bottom line. Now, if you're listening to this in real time, you might know that I just got back from a couple of crazy weeks with the Power Talk Friday tour, which was amazing, by the way. And thank you everyone for attending. And then after that, we were at the IWCE and the exciting Windows Conference in Dallas. All of these were in Dallas. These events were so good, and you better believe they were so helpful to my mindset. Events like these always are. But getting there and having a seat at the table at events like this doesn't happen by accident. You have to set an intention. You have to picture yourself being there. Not only that, you have to feel it in your heart, what it's like to be there. That's the amazing thing about intention, because once you feel it, there's no going back. And if you are ready to feel that, then we've got 3 more stops on the Power Talk Friday tour this year, coming to New Jersey, Las Vegas, and High Point. You can go to powertalkfriday.com to learn more and to register. Another bit of info that I want to get to before we get to the show is that we are taking scholarships at the applications for the scholarship at the WCAA for the Jill Robeson Memorial Scholarship. Okay. This year, 4 scholarships are being awarded in the categories of workroom, installer, window treatment retailer, and interior designer. Yes. So the deadline is June 1st, 2024. Go to wcaa.org/scholarships to learn more and to apply. And guess what? You just maybe felt a little nudge of an intention to go to a Power Talk Friday event, and you thought, I wonder how I could do that, make it easier for myself. And then I announced a scholarship where you can win money towards the event. How about that? That's a good manifestation right there, right? All right, I'm teasing you. True, but I'm teasing. Let's meet Jennifer and learn about intention and how it has impacted and continues to impact her business. Hey, Jennifer, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on here.
Well, I'm excited. We've had a fun little pre-air chat here. You've gotten to see all my shenanigans in the booth. Because all of a sudden I'm caring about how I look on video. I don't know why.
Well,
I think it probably won't last more than a week. I'm not going to worry about it.
You look great.
So here's the thing. You sent in your intake form about mindset and about client experience and about the experience that you create as an interior designer for your clients, but also your trades, your employees, for yourself, like this whole thing around what I kind of reading between the lines is almost like quality of life mixed with quality of running a business, which I love because, it's not a short race, it's a marathon. We have to make it sustainable across decades. So tell me what it is. What are you trying to get off your heart in this regard, Jennifer, about the advice to your peers and your colleagues about your experience with trying to, I think, just up level this whole experience of being a businesswoman?
Well, I think sometimes this industry gets a really bad rap, especially if you roll construction into it. I feel like everybody has a horror story about their remodel or, redecorating or whatever the case may be. So my hope was that we could create this amazing experience to change that story. Basically, I want the journey that you go through to get from start to finish to be as joyful as the joy you feel at the end of the project when you're in your new
Mm.
space. And there's so many things that go into it. Everything from, I really believe how we treat even like the subcontractors we work with plays into then if we treat them well, how they treat the client, just the whole overall experience. So, I mean, there's the easy things that I feel like so many of us do, acknowledging special life milestones, giving them a welcome gift, the wrap up gift, kind of the obvious ones, but we really try and, you know, spend lots of time with people, listen to people. We want them to feel like, and they've said to us this before, it feels like you're the only one we're working with, or we're your only client. That's what I meant
Oh,
to say. I mean, we
interesting.
want them to really feel like they've got our full attention all the time, which of course is not always the easiest thing to do, but we really strive for that.
So, in striving for that, as soon as I hear that, well, first of all, set the table for me a little bit.
Sure.
How many projects are you typically working on at one time? Like, get us an idea of what your workload is and maybe the size of the project, so I can have a little concept and context here.
Sure. We generally run about 20 to 25 projects at a time. And
Wow.
well, they're anything from a repeat client that needs help picking out, a new rug to a full new construction home and everything in
Right.
between. So we kind of try and balance it out. So maybe there's only one or two full new construction projects that we're working on for a year. Maybe we have 10 remodels, but we really vet the builder or the remodeling teams that we bring into projects so that we know that they can work at the same level we're working at, so we don't have to do a lot of management there. And then I have this thing where I never say no to a referral, even if it's something we typically wouldn't do because it's really small, because our business has been built solely on referrals. So there will be some small projects scattered in there as well. Like
Okay.
ones that if a new client came into me, we might pass them on to a friend in the industry instead. But
Okay.
if they're referral, we'll take them on.
Okay, that makes sense, right? It's
Right.
like okay, totally hear that. Now, so that's a busy firm. So when we go back to your initial premise, which is I actually have clients saying to me, we feel like we're your only client. Like that's a real high five that's coming at you, right? When you are actually running 20 to 25 projects. And so what what I know is it has to be based in process. There's no way,
100%.
right? Like it's
Yep.
the only place it can be. So talk to me about, because I hear what you're saying, the strawberries on the day and then the milestone birthday and the little lunches and stuff. That's all great. But if the process is broken and the process isn't showing up in the day to day, beautiful, nobody cares about the strawberries and champagne on reveal day. Like,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
It's like nonsense. It's like the husband who brings you, grief 5 days a week, but then he walks in with flowers on Saturday, and you're like, go away. like
I've
what,
been there.
whatever.
Yeah. Yes, that is actually it. No, we really spent the last couple of years honing in on our processes, and we use all the platforms and all the technologies, and we have the canned emails written and ready to go, and we'll just, personalize them and tweak them so we're not like rewriting, every single email. We try and do a lot that's automated. Of course, they don't know it's all automated, right? but
Right?
but it is on our end. And that has helped. And, finding a program that we feel really comfortable being able to pull information from quickly on the fly that, has great project management and does proposals quickly and all that type of stuff. That's what we've spent the last couple of years really, really perfecting.
So, and that is a lot of work.
A
That is a
ton of
lot of
work.
work, right?
Yes.
To like, we want to say to stop the train and do that work, but with the trains keep going and we have to then kind of pull aside here and there and build a new process. And when that process involves software, project management, automated emails and templates, that is very difficult to do while operating the business, right?
It is. And I'll be honest with you, as a business owner, I did that on nights and weekends
Oh,
because there's
yeah.
not time to do it. But it's, you lay the groundwork. So eventually you
It's
can take the
done.
vacation or you can spend the weekend on the boat, right?
Yeah. So, what project software, management software, what types of things are you using? Everybody's going, tell me what it is.
Yes. So we use Dubsado.
Okay.
We use the Google Business Suite.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely adore House, which I know a lot of people don't, but we really do. We didn't for a long time, but now we do. What else do we use? We use, the Canvas and all those
Right.
types of things too. And I feel like I'm forgetting one. I'm totally
What
blanking on one, but I can't remember right now.
It'll come to you as we're talking, I'm
Yeah.
sure of it. What about like what program or what are you using for your emails? Like, are you using Active Campaign? What are you using?
If we're sending,
Or does that happen through Dubsado? I don't
that
really.
happens through Dubsado.
Okay.
Yep, that
Okay.
happens through Dubsado. We also send most of our correspondence also through House because they can comment on individual items so that we're not sending emails saying, what do you think of the new sofa option? It's all just kind of right in one place and easy for us to find as soon as we need to reference it.
Okay.
And we upload everything. So we're in a client's house. Any notes we take, any photos, we upload it immediately as we're in our car before we drive away. So we don't lose it.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I'm going to choose the better part of valor and not question you about that.
I know. It's very controversial. Very controversial.
And I'm not middle of the road on it.
Yep.
And what's interesting is, honestly, right now, I'm actually debating myself right now because part of me is like, between our off-air conversation in just a few minutes, I can tell that you have your stuff together, right? Like I know the difference and I can tell. And I kind of am like, why? Right. And part of me is like, do the audience a service and pick it apart and ask her why. And the other part of me is like, I don't want to put any energy into it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do it in the Facebook group or something,
Perfect.
you and I, because
Perfect.
I have questions on it. I just, we're just going to leave it at that. Okay.
Perfect.
Moving on. Okay. So here's the thing. Is there something in like something specific? Is it just little? Because I mean, look, it's 1,000 episodes. It's 8 years. Process is the queen and king of everything. But what's different about it that you want to share? Because you listen to the show, so you've heard all the episodes. What do you want to say in it that's different? Is it just simply the tenacity and the tenaciousness actually to stick with every weekend to get it done? Like, what do you want to tell everybody?
I mean, that's part of it. But I think it's something like at my core, like I want just everybody to be, I'm a people pleaser, right? At my core, I want everyone to be really happy. And I mean, the process part came from, there's no way you can manage that without having all your ducks in a row.
No.
But I also think there's a huge human element to it. And it's the way, it's all these processes, but it's the way we approach our clients and our tradespeople and all of our partners that are involved that make it's such a great experience too. And you can have all the great processes set up, but if you don't have the attention span or you don't listen, or you just truly don't care, which I hope everyone listening cares about all their clients, but let's be honest, sometimes you don't. But you've got to have that human element with all the processes to really deliver that exceptional client experience.
And what do you think is the hard part about it? In other words, is the hard part that sometimes you're just exhausted and tired, you don't want to go the extra mile? Is the hard part is communicating to the other 5 people on your team, like, "These are our standards, this is how we do it?" Like, what's the nudge in there, Jen?
I think the hardest part for us is probably time. And it's, you get mom brain or you get our age brain or whatever you want to call it. For me, it's our age brain. But it's being able to carry out what you started and continue with
Yes.
the train of thought when you've got 3 other people in the queue that you want to get to right away. But I've tried the time blocking where I'm only going to work on this for this time and this for that time, and that actually doesn't really work for me to deliver the experience I want. So sometimes I feel like we're scatterbrained. Hopefully it doesn't show up for our clients that way behind the scenes. Like, we'll be sitting here having conversations and we'll just stop like mid-sentence because we can't remember what we were going to say. But yeah, I would say just, the balancing act of all of it.
So, time blocking doesn't work for you personally.
It doesn't.
What does work? Do you have team meetings? How do your projects flow? How do you make sure that the other eyeballs in your building are doing the things the way communication is open so that you can deliver?
So I just remember the other platform we use. We use Monday.
Oh, okay.
And we write
Yeah.
everything down. And in addition to that, if I write it down old school on a sheet of paper, in addition to putting it out there for my team, then I remember it. Sometimes I remember it when I'm in bed at night, but I remember it. So I make old school lists, and then we have team lists on Monday where we communicate back and forth as to what we're doing, even if we're
Yeah.
sitting right next to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We use Monday also. And this week, as we speak, my team is migrating us to ClickUp. I am so not happy about that.
Never heard it. I hate technology change. That's why this was all very difficult for me. I just don't like technology in general. I still have binders in addition to like all of our digital files. So
Yeah. 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 It's, I have loved Monday very much, but I don't do anything in Monday other than tell you what I've done.
right.
Right.
You get to check the
So
box.
yeah, I'm like,
Sure.
okay, I did that. Okay, I did that. Okay, you can do that. Okay, you do. But they're telling me how it's not working for the marketing funnels.
Yeah.
Like the one part of marketing isn't able to communicate with another part of marketing, and it all has to be cohesive. And so, yeah, but ClickUp is like the look of it. I have not used it yet. Just the look of it is more like it's more left brain looking. Like Monday, I love
Yeah.
it. Like when I went to your board today, there's your picture. It's like, oh, there's Jennifer. I'm going to interview
Yeah.
her. Like it's all like it speaks to my right brain heart. You know what I mean?
I
So
get
we'll
that.
see.
I get that.
Yeah.
We had trouble with some of the other um, interior design project management invoicing platforms because it didn't feel intuitive to me either. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
get
we're
that.
going to see. We'll see. So, okay. So do you have a flow, a structure to what happens when you sign a client and everybody, and you've got all different types of projects you will take for a repeat client. You'll take one room refresh for,
Right.
a new client, you do a whole build. So do you have SOPs enunciated for every sort of project? Like, is it as simple as that full SOP, we just pull it out for this little part when we do this little part? You know what I mean? Or is it a separate SOP written?
It's just one giant one, and we get to check the box if it doesn't apply, so we feel accomplished.
Got it. Got it. There's something to be said for that.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we just started this project. The first 20 steps are
Yep.
done. Yay. That makes sense. That makes total sense to me, actually. Okay. So talk to me then about this mindset piece, about, the way you approach your work. Okay. And what you think is different about that.
So everything that I feel like I've accomplished to this point is because I set the intention, and then it just magically happens. I don't know. I believe I believe you manifest by your thoughts. So
Yes.
it's really important. It's important for my team to be on board with that way of thinking, but I am a huge believer in that, to the point where today we were driving home from a client and there was some tricky stuff, and one of the designers just got negative about the whole situation. I'm like, now, if you stay in that spot, we're going to keep attracting more of that. Just let it go. Take a deep breath and let it go. But I mean, it's true. It happens every time. I can think of, I mean, as soon as I say, we're going to get new clients today, we'll get a new client that day.
Yes.
And I've been in, I mean, we've all had tricky clients or projects that we've had to work through. And I had really probably one of the most challenging ones I've ever had in my career last summer. And I was working with Nancy Ganzikoffer during that time. And I called her and I'm like, no work is coming in. I don't know what to do. Like, this has never happened to me. I always get new leads regularly. Like, what's going on? And she's like, tell me what's going on in your life. And I said, I've got this client. And she's like, that's it. She's like,
That's
and,
blocking all the good chi.
yeah. And, it was one of those things where they wanted me to pay for something that really I shouldn't have to. And she's like, just, you know what? Just pay for it. Sort of like my dad said, there'll always be more money. Just pay for it. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And kid you not, I did that night and I got a new client the next day. So the stuff is super powerful. I know it's like kind of, out there, but this is what I practiced my whole life on this whole, power of intention or manifesting that, the ability that your mind can change the outcome of what's going to happen in a day.
So where does this come from? How were you educated to understand this?
I really don't know. I feel like this is kind of cheesy, but I feel like maybe when I was in high school, The Secret came out and my mom was a huge fan of it. And I think I was exposed to it that way. But I also read a book when I was in my early 20s by Jack Canfield called Dare to Win.
Mm-hmm.
And it had you write out, all these things you wanted to manifest. Of course, I was a 20-year-old. Like, I had I wanted season tickets to the NBA games and, I wanted a new car. But I saved that list. I still have it because it's just funny. Everything on that list, I said I wanted to have daughters, not sons. Like everything, it's just crazy. So I think that probably reinforced it at a young age for me.
Yes.
But I use it in business all the time. I mean, it's really powerful. Even, a tricky situation happens and we make a mistake that's clearly our mistake. Instead of getting upset, I'm just like, I'm grateful this happened because we learned so much and we're going to do better next time.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. I mean, you are, speaking to the choir with me. This is literally how I think, how I'm raised. I believe the same things that you believe. And I believe in writing down what you want because it is interesting. It's funny because in my first book, I mentioned how when Vin and I were first married and we bought our first house. Now I'm in my first home, real home as a grown up person. And I'm loving this home. I am not like, oh, this is such a starter house. I'm like, this is an amazing house. It was a starter house, but I was super thrilled and super grateful and really was genuinely in that positive spot, right? But what's interesting is despite being in that legitimate, literal, positive spot, probably within the first year of living in that house, I actually wrote the list for what would be in my one-day dream house. So I wasn't, and I think the reason I'm explaining it to you like this is because I didn't make the list from lack.
Right.
I remember being in positivity, being in gratitude, and being in this house is so amazing. What will my next house be like? Right.
Right.
And, neither one of us come from money. It wasn't like, well, we'll just crack that trust fund. It was like we were working. We've got 4 kids at this point because I had 3 stepkids, right? Colleges were around the corner because his kids were older. All the things. It was a regular garden variety life. But what was funny was 13 years later, we built a home. And I did not remember writing this list. I had no recollection of writing this list because here I was like a 23-year-old dumbass writing a list of what my dream house would be like. And after we moved into the new house and I'm building this house based on all of the work over the years with Window Works and being on all the projects with all the designers. And that's what informed what I wanted in this house. I thought.
Right.
And it came time to take all the books out of the boxes and put them on the bookshelves. And it's literally like a Hallmark movie moment. I take this one book, I go to put it on the bookshelf. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is a funny old book I've never looked at in 100 years. And it was like a journaly type book. And I open it up and folded in the beginning of the book was my dream house and then a list of 23 things that this house would have in it. Jennifer, one of the things that I put in this house was a front and a back staircase. Now, how many houses have you been in that actually have that aren't mansions? It's like, right? Like it was a very like, that's never going to happen thing, but I put it. And I said that the kitchen would have a big bay area, not a bay window, but the room would be a bay area. And I looked down this whole list, and every single thing, Jennifer, is on this list in this house, except for two things. Number one, I had on the list that I wanted a big wraparound porch. I was always enamored by big wraparound porches. I always thought they're so beautiful, still do. And the other thing is I had on the list that my bedroom would have a fireplace in it. Okay. And it didn't. And the thing was, what's funny was when we were building it, the builder said, do you want a fireplace here? And I was like, no. And I like really in 13 years had grown up and changed my mind and knew that I would never set a fire in the bedroom. I just would never do it. Like who has time for that? Like, no, right? My 23-year-old self thought I would, but my 37-year-old self was like, you'll never do that. So, but the thing was, so you come down to it, there's one thing, like front and back staircase. Like I can't tell you all the things on this thing that were just like, where did I get off thinking these were even in my lifetime at 23, honestly? And it was just remarkable. And what was so funny, of course, Nagara, you know, who you can't love the guy any more than you already do. I come running down, like, you're not going to believe me. You're not going to believe it. Look what I found. This is insane. Like, I knew this was our dream house when we built it, but like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. He looks at me, he's like, well, we should get an architect over and see if we can build that porch on the front.
Oh, I love it. Do you have the porch?
No. Because I said to him, no. See, older LuAnn got very practical.
Yes.
And I was like, this is a center hall colonial. It will not look good with a porch.
Agreed.
We did not build the right style. He's like, so what? If you want it, we should have it. Aww. I'm like, no.
I love that. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah. And it works over and over again. And what I love is, it doesn't seem like it works for you because, not that you can't go this route, but so many people do the route of, I get quiet every morning and I center and I meditate and I visualize and I do all that stuff, which is valid. But it really, we are talking to our higher selves all day long, and our higher selves moves us to the things that we manifest. The universe puts the things in front that we, like you said, when your colleague was being negative, we understand the inclination to be negative, but being negative attracts more negativity.
Agreed.
So it's interesting that you learned it without all the, I'm going to read about meditation every day of the week.
I don't have time. I would love to meditate in the morning. Love that. I don't believe people actually do that. At least people with kids. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I do know that people do it. I absolutely do know that they do, right?
They do.
I am not that girl either, but don't tell me I don't manifest. I can be driving down the car and I'm building my dreams out here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like it's a connection to your higher self. And if it feels more positive and more rewarding for you to do that through a ritual, I'm a high five all day long. But when I'm walking on the beach, I'm meditating. I'll tell you that right now. I am tapping in to higher self, right?
Agreed. Yeah. I think a big thing too is, people who are new to it, you have to remove all those limiting beliefs. Like I was going to joke and say it's worked for everything except for, getting into my ideal best shape or whatever. But I think I limit my beliefs that, you're not going to look like that girl on Instagram. So
you'll see, and that's a true thing.
Yeah,
Jen,
I do.
Right?
I really do, because that's the one area that I struggle, even though like I set the intention. But I think part of me is like always said, you're not going to be that girl, You
see, and that's the truth. That is really the crux of it right now. So it's our highest self will create whatever we say to. And as soon as you say, I would like to have that, I want to have that, but then you actually tell yourself that's not you, that's it. It's off.
Right. You have to feel worthy, that you deserve it. You have to be worthy of it.
Yeah. Like you have to have faith in it. And the thing is, that might be something that with mindful meditation, you could develop an overcome of that limiting belief about your physicality. You're
Yes.
gorgeous and you're beautiful, by the way. So you
Thank you.
really should let it go. Okay.
Absolutely.
But it's between our ears, what we
Right.
see, think, and hear,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so,
Absolutely.
but that is where what comes easy comes easy. It's just like business.
Right.
What comes easy, but like building out your processes was a Saturday and Sunday and a weekend thing, right? It's like you had to put in the time. And so the things that aren't easy doesn't mean we can't get over them, but we might have to put in that time, right?
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. And then it just becomes how much does it matter to us?
Right. Like I would rather go to the restaurant and eat the food.
Right.
So
Yeah,
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 I'm,
yeah. And by the way,
and
like
it's
your life
great.
is full and your life is happy and you are beautiful. Like you are a shining human person that is radiating positive energy right now. I'm looking right at you.
You're so
So,
sweet.
you know. So, but the thing is, I love that Nancy's great.
She is
Nancy
great.
nails it. I love that she did it because you know what I love? Any one of you listening that knows Nancy, what I love is that Nancy has great radar for, oh no, we're fighting for this. We're going to do this. You're going to go back to your client. You're going to email this and you're going to blah, blah, blah. But that's just it. It's the answer until it's not the answer.
Right.
And sometimes you need to be able to know, no, let this one go. This is dragging down everything. Just pay the darn money and get out of this cycle of negativity here. And, that comes from, years of experience in business. And, it's like, I love that, she's just so reliable with that is what I love.
She's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, as you talk to your different colleagues and stuff, what do you see happening? What do you see lacking in being able to develop this abundance mindset and this positive mindset and carrying it from, creating process all the way through your projects and your clients? What do you think? What's happening in the industry? Why is it not easy for everybody?
Well, I think this industry is an easy one to have that imposter syndrome, to not feel like you're good enough. And I think social media, of course, only makes that. I mean, it's for everything in life, really. But
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to be inundated with all these things on social media. And, you see one thing and it starts feeding you the same thing over and over again. And we forget that there are so many designers out there at so many different levels, at so many different points of their career. And then I think, you limit your belief and think, well, I'm not capable of, that level, or I'm not going to get those clients. Or, I mean, you have to believe that, obviously you have to put in all the work too, but you have to
Yes.
believe that you can get those clients. And you also have to remember, everybody started somewhere. Like, people didn't just wake up and get these, $3 million new construction homes to work on. Doesn't happen that
And if
way.
they did, they probably botched it.
Right. It's just not like that. But I think a lot of people have this, especially new designers or people that I, talk with that are, asking, how can I get more clients? I think they just don't have the confidence, and you've got to, maybe the meditation, to clear those beliefs. But there's so much work out there. There's work for everybody. I mean, there's plenty of work to go around. I don't know if that actually answered what you asked.
No, I would say the root of it is that the social media component.
It's hard.
Yeah. You guys have heard me complain about it. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't come up in social media. Like, and what's crazy is now my business is creating a platform through, podcasting and social media and stuff, but I'm a lot older, right? Like, I'm not questioning myself. Like, and it's not that I never question myself, but I move through it quicker than you do when you're younger, is what I think is the thing.
Yes. I try and limit my time on there, just because I want to know that what I came up with was a design I came up with on my own, not by seeing something else. I also think we talked about this before we were on the air, but it'll feed you the same thing, right? So if you're looking at the red dress, you're going to get the red dress all day long. So it is hard. I think you have to really believe in yourself and surround yourself with people who believe in you, and find good mentors and a good design community to be a part of. And then when you set the intentions, you can truly believe that you're worthy of all these things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in Sandra Funk's group? Because she's all about this, the woo woo and the setting and the intentions and all of that stuff. Do you watch her design sips or anything like that?
I've watched her stuff, but I'm not part of her group. But
Okay.
yeah, and I've listened to her podcast that you've had on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah, she's the one who at the end of the day does the incense and the woo-woo and all
Oh,
like
she's really into
she
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But she's created her dream life through doing it. And she takes particular pleasure in that process of slowing down and
Yes.
doing that time for intentionality. So to me, you got to do you, right? You got to
Right.
do you,
Right.
right? It's funny because I don't know if you've heard the episodes with Katie McDonald on the podcast, and she's a wellness and an advocate for wellness for high achieving entrepreneurial women.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes. And like she would be really fine if we all just sat for 5 minutes while a cup of tea steeped. Like she says, like, LuAnn, can you just do 5 minutes?
I do make time for that. That is part of
See,
my routine. The tea and the chocolate, and
good
just
for you.
taking a moment.
Yeah. It's funny because last weekend I finally got to the beach. I hadn't been there in weeks because of all the travel. And I did my walk. I have to walk for a gabillion hours. And then I was like, oh, go up and see the ocean. Because a lot of times I walk on the beach, but this particular time I didn't. But I always go look at the beach and I say hi. And I say hi to the ocean and the sun and the sand. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. Hi. And I have a little communion with them. And I was like, okay, so go back. And I heard Katie in my head. And I was like, sit here for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down. And then I was about to get up. And I was like, okay, now I had to look at my watch. And I'm like, all right, we're doing 5 minutes.
No.
It's crazy. But what's interesting is that the 5 minutes, once I settled into it, I think this is what Katie tries to teach us, is the 5 minutes easily then became 15,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because then I let go and I was just like, okay, soak it in. You don't have to be moving to soak in the ocean and the sand. You can be sitting. And so there's something to that.
I agree. Nature makes it a little bit easier to slow down too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what are like aspirations for your particular business? You have 5 people on your team. Is this a good sized team? Is this like just keep running and gunning and just being more profitable and being more abundant and having, better projects and better clients and doing good jobs? Or is there an aspiration to grow bigger or contract smaller? What's your world, Jennifer?
I just want to keep pushing to see how far I can go.
Ah.
We're going to open a retail, or not a retail, an online retail store.
Oh.
Hopefully in May. It's probably a little delayed. It's a little bit out of my control, so I'm just kind of rolling with that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
Why is it out of my control, or why are we doing it?
No, why are you doing it?
Well, I always struggle when we get to the point where we go and style a home at the end of a project. And I always want pieces that, even if it's a brand new home, I want pieces that have some character, that maybe feel vintage or actual antiques. And I struggle with collecting that. And it usually takes me a lot of time. So I wanted to create a place that I could go to, a resource for myself that had curated these items. So we're going to strictly stay in the home decor. Like, we're not going to do all the furniture like so many other people do very successfully, but I don't have any interest in that. I really just want to focus on one area and do it really well. So it's a lot of home goods. I would like to sell antiques on there too. My mom is a huge antique collector. She belongs to a big national organization for antiques. She'd be so happy that I'm saying this. I mean, we're starting to see people crave, things with more character. But I would like to bring more of that into the design world. And it would be great to be able to sell one-of-a-kind pieces and help other people who are looking to source. A place to source, I mean, it'd be great to just go to one place rather than these online stores and these 12 in-person stores. It's so much work. It's so much work.
So what will this business model look like then? Would it be like you'll go to, I'm going to say a word that I'm not sure I know what it means, but like, do you buy Round Top antiques at Round Top?
I'm not,
is that a place?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. So far, I mean, we have a fair amount of prototypes so that we can start. Like, I've ordered things. Most of them are reproductions, but they're really good. Like, I've ordered test product of everything. I missed the Atlanta market because I can't remember if we had someone sick or something. We didn't make it to the gift market, but yeah, I don't
So,
know. I mean, Round Trop's a great idea, but like really small antique stores in small towns are a great place to get like a good deal so you can make some money on things.
okay. So,
Yeah,
but what I'm trying to understand is, so say you go around to local antique
right.
dealers and you get these things. So you're going to actually purchase them, have them on the website. If somebody buys it, great. But if not, you're going to source your own projects. So you're going to house these things as inventory now?
Well, I already do that. So yes, now we're
Oh,
just adding the sales component to everyone else to it. And I'll have to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how it's all going to work, but you know what? I always just jump in and do it because I will figure it out, right? Because if we wait too long, then it's too late. Like you just got to jump and go. It's
okay.
like
Well, I
pure
look,
faith,
I can't
right?
argue with that. I cannot argue with that. But I would like you to build a P&L on it. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
yes, we have all these things, but as far as the vintage pieces that I don't have completely mapped out yet. These are reproduction
Okay.
pieces right now that we have.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't
Okay.
just
Okay.
totally jump, but
Okay.
still a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess if the retail component of it never takes off, will this thing be profitable just based on you sourcing it for your own projects?
Yes.
Ah, see, now I'm done.
And
Now I'm
so
fine.
I think we started ordering in the fall for prototypes because I want to make sure I like it before, we put it in the store. We've actually eliminated all of it. Like I was going to use it for a photo shoot, but it's all in clients' homes now.
You all
So,
sold it. Yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. See, I'm like, as long as the least thing that happens still warrants profitability. If the other things happen, well, then
Right.
gravy, right? And
Agreed.
you can build on the things that work and the things that don't. But I always get a little like start to like twitch a little bit when somebody starts a whole nother revenue stream without really thinking it through. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yes. This is why it's
Yeah,
not brick and mortar.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Much
yeah,
bigger
yeah. Gotcha.
investment. Right.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Interesting. Okay, so that's exciting.
And then grow the team, and we take projects all over the US, and we're just, I don't know, just keep seeing how far we can stretch, right?
How old are the girls?
I have a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Okay, so we're almost cooked. They
Yeah.
got 6 or 8 years until they're cooked.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
we're good.
And it's also funny to me the fascination with the industry to do work all over the country. I It's a thing now, and I'm just like, it really wasn't even a thing 8 years ago, but it's a thing now.
It's a thing. I think it looks very glamorous until you start doing it.
This is my point. I'm like,
It's
it's not as all it's cracked
I
up to
mean,
be.
I will
What are you
tell you,
doing?
it's not glamorous. You're up at 4 a.m. You spend 3 hours traveling. You show up for a 2-hour meeting. You're lucky if
You
you've
have to
eaten
start
anything.
all new
Right.
trades.
You're lucky if you've eaten anything at that point, and then you're back at the airport and home at midnight if you're not spending the night. I try and be really efficient because I've got other stuff going on that I need to get back to. But yeah, it's not as glamorous as it seems. But
I don't think it's glamorous at all.
it's not. But I think a lot of people aspire to it because we see it on social media, and you're like, wow, that looks. Oh, I'm all over the place. I mean, ours just happened to be referrals from current
Okay,
clients.
gotcha.
And it has to be a good project to do it, right? You're not
Right,
just picking up and flying to Timbuktu for,
right,
I don't know,
right.
whatever.
Yeah, I just have noticed this huge fascination with doing projects in multiple states. And look, if you got a team of 15 or 20 and you got to pay some bills and you've got, 15 or 20 eyeballs looking at you. Yeah, okay, we got to expand the area that we are drawing clients from, but it just stresses every single part of the process. It literally stresses every part, not to mention home life with that 13-year-old and 16-year-old.
It's not that bad. And it's fun to work with different architecture. Things are
Okay,
different.
okay,
So I'm in
okay.
Minnesota. So the architecture in Atlanta or, Pebble Beach, California is much more, I mean, it's drastically different than
Completely
where we live.
different. Yeah.
So it is fun from a creativity standpoint to be able
Mm.
to work with different styles of architecture. Absolutely. But you're right. People work very differently. Codes are different. Um, but you're always learning, and when you're learning, you're growing, all that good stuff. But no, it's lots of fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but you're right. It's not necessarily stressful as it is exhausting. I think that's a better word for it.
Okay.
That's a better word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 But would you agree? I do believe that if you don't have tight processes, that is a recipe for disaster.
You can't do it. There's no way you can do it because you can't communicate with all these other, your builder and their subs if you don't have that in place. You can't be there to go show them how to lay
Right.
a tile, right? You have to have all of that laid out for them ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's funny because like we are going to do a project next fall at the beach house and working with Anastasia Harrison from ADH and Co. I always have to think about her and the initials of her business. And she's an architect designer here in New Jersey. And I said to her, I said, this is my dream that I don't walk in to the project and the builder went, hey, that thing you wanted wouldn't work. So we did this. Doesn't this look great? And I'm going to be like, no, it does not look great. You know what I mean? I said, you're going to manage that, right? She's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm like, so no one on the job would dare make a change without going to you. She's like, no, ma'am, they will not. She goes, because it will all be detailed. They will have all the drawings. They will have all the specifications. And I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because every project I've ever done in my entire life has always been me and Vinny as the GC, right? Like
Yeah.
legit, gross, like ugly, right? And mistakes beyond mistakes and all the things. And then you walk in and you're like, dude, that's the wrong way. Well, it's done. Oh, okay, great. Like the horror stories upon the horror stories. So I am actually treating us to Anastasia. So I'm very excited.
That is so fun. Yeah. I mean, that'll
Yeah.
be a whole different experience for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. It'll be great. And it's good because she's architect and designer. So it's like one-stop shop.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So looking forward to that next fall. I'll keep you posted on how that goes.
I'm sure it will be perfect.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be. I am too, because Anastasia is buttoned up. She is a smart lady. I am very, very impressed by her. So, okay. So final thoughts on mindset? Final thoughts on...
Well, I would say if you're new to it, a really great book that you can read or listen to. I'm a big fan of listening to my books instead of reading
Me
them.
too.
Roxy Nafusi has a book called Manifest. 8 Easy Steps for Manifesting for those who are new to it. It's a great book.
Spell it. That's a new book for me.
Oh, well, Roxy is Roxie, and I think it's Nafousi. Maybe.
Okay, we will check.
And it's called Manifest. And it's also, all of your designers out there listening will love this because it's a beautiful book too. Like it looks great on a coffee table.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Isn't that funny?
That's
great.
A plus. Yeah. But she's very simple. She makes it very simple to understand. Yeah. She has a beautiful accent, so she's fun to listen to. But I would say if you haven't tried it before, grab that book. It's a great place to start. And I think, I think the 5 minutes thing is great. I mean, if you could just slow down your brain for 5 minutes to think what you're really after, like what do you really want at home, at work, all the places. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're like us and you just go a mile a minute, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love the moment that you mentioned with your colleague where you put the brakes on it. That's the key. Right? Yeah. The key is not to get spiraled and wound into it. It's to kind of look at the situation and say, wait, what's happening here? Like what I always say, let's wind it back to something I can change that can change this outcome, right?
Right. So learning how to manage yourself, manage your thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
And that takes a lot of practice, actually. For me, that took a lot of practice.
Oh, right. And the thing is, you can do really great 3 thoughts in a row and then blow it the next one. Like, let's be serious. We're humans.
Right. Or if you have kids, you try it with the kids and it works, 5% of the time, right? I'm going to be calm. And then it just doesn't work.
Oh, reminding me with my grandchildren, my grandson. My grandson in the bathtub. I just said to my daughter, no, I could go my whole life without giving him a bath again.
I love it. Just no. Not for me.
He's adorable and it's all good. He's not negative, but he's so he gets in that tub and all of a sudden it's like crashing the dinosaurs and crashing the trucks and rah, 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 and he's jumping. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like what just happened here?
I love it.
Oh, so funny. Anyway, well, this was tons of fun.
It
I
was.
appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I love the advice. I love the tips. I love the thought that, how we carry ourselves through our business, relates and comes back to us in our personal life, and to kind of just look at everything and not just let it happen to us, right? It's like the thoughts that we create and put around things, and the boxes that we put around them, and the thoughts that we decide on, right, Jen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks tons for being here. So here's the thing. We can't just sit back and let life happen to us. That kind of reaction mode will never get us where we dream of being. And we can't bully our way into it either. We have to put out good into the world, and good comes back to us. Call it the golden rule, call it karma, call it abundance. It doesn't matter to me what you call it. It matters to me that you understand it and that you hopefully practice it. What an incredible conversation, Jennifer. Thank you for inspiring us with these insights and giving us the evidence that mindset, manifestation, and creating a joyful client experience can lead to success. I think that's so much of it, right? You might find this interesting, but hearing the stories helps give you faith to try it yourself, right? Now, let's walk through the discussion because there were some good takeaways here. First, I love how Jennifer emphasized the power of setting intentions and believing in the outcomes we want to create. When she said, everything that I feel like I've accomplished to this point is because I set the intention, and then it magically happens. That resonated with me. It's a reminder that our thoughts and beliefs have a profound impact on our reality. This idea is something that I've explored in my own journey with manifestation. I was recently on Rebecca Hayes' podcast, Resilient by Design, and I shared my experiences around this. If you haven't heard that episode yet, I'd love for you to give it a listen. We've linked it in the show notes, and you'll hear how I discovered the power of manifestation as a child. All right? Now, it's not just about wishing for things to happen. We have to take action and align our behaviors with our intentions. As I shared my own story about manifesting my dream home, it's about getting clear on what we want, about writing it down, and then putting in the work to make it happen. Sometimes, though, like with Jennifer's story about working with Nancy Ganskaufer, we have to let things go so that we can get back to that positive mindset. You have to release it. You've heard it, let it go, right? Nancy is such a good coach, and she's helped me get unstuck many times in the past several years. She's no stranger to the podcast, and we'll link a couple of her shows in the show notes for you. Another crucial point Jennifer raised was the importance of removing limiting beliefs. So often, we hold ourselves back because of the stories we tell ourselves about what we're capable of or about what we deserve. But as Jennifer demonstrated, when we let go of those beliefs and embrace an abundance mindset, incredible things happen. Right? If you want to dive deeper into that topic of abundance mindset, I recommend you check out the episode with Sandra Funk. She is a master at manifesting success and abundance in business and in life, and those episodes are in the show notes as well. It's so easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others and feeling like we're not enough. But these limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome feelings, they don't serve us. They don't. As Jennifer pointed out, everyone starts somewhere. We don't usually see the full journey or the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. So focus on your own path and your own progress, and you can cultivate the confidence and the self-belief that you need to succeed. Jennifer and her team have created a detailed client experience that goes above and beyond to make every touchpoint memorable and joyful. From little surprises to streamlined processes and clear communication. It's part of her mission to prioritize the entire journey for the client, not just the reveal. This is one way she focuses on her own path and progress, creating joy along the way for herself and her team, because it's the people that are important. And sure, they'll feel good in the finished space, but by then Jennifer is on to another project. And with this approach, she gets the chance to experience with them their joy along the way. And that's empowering for her. Creating a process like that takes time, and Jennifer admitted that it took some nights and weekends to do it. But that set her up so now that she can relax on those nights and weekends. You put the work in it first, but it multiplies. The efforts multiply, okay? Set aside time for intention setting, surrounding yourself with positivity, reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. These small changes can add up to big results. Jennifer recommended starting with just 5 minutes. Katie McDonald and I have discussed this on the podcast, the same thing. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of prioritizing your self-care, your self-talk, your mindset practices. It's absolutely essential as busy entrepreneurs to tap into this. Katie has so many good ideas around this, and we're going to put the episode notes for her show in the notes as well, because it all connects, right? I hope this conversation has sparked some new ideas and insights for you. Remember, you have the power to design a business and a life you love. It starts with your mindset. Take 5 minutes a day to think about it. Then take maybe 5 tomorrow and set an intention. And keep doing it and see what happens. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here today. This was such a fun conversation, and I appreciated all the things that you shared with us. And thank you so much for joining me each week. I appreciate you. Remember, your thoughts and beliefs have the power to shape your reality. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.